All right. I guess we are live. So what's going on, everybody? It's a new week. Got a great episode prepared for y'all today. First off, I want to mention March 1st, the Augusta Wild Outdoor Expo is going to be at the Columbia County Expedition Center. And I want everybody to try and make it there. And it's going to be great. I know it's going to be a lot of great vendors, local vendors. They're having a 3D archery tournament. And I know that one's going to be really cool to see. So if y'all could try and make that next, you're here in a few weeks actually. And so this week I got Reece Baker on, and he's a big time dog hunter. And our goal for this episode is to basically, like I said in the description, is to bridge the gap. We want to get people on this episode that might not, particularly care for dog hunters or have issues with them. And we're going to try to come together as a hunting community and stop all the bickering and all the other bad stigmas and stuff that we got going on. And let each case, each person state their case, and let's try to stay professional about it. And if for whatever reason we don't have anybody on the other side, on that side that has the stigma and stuff come on, then we're going to try and do the best we can on educating people on that topic. So let's get started. I'm going to try and get Reece on here. All right, it says adding. Here we go. Something's happening here. Here we go.
Hey, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm new to this, man, so I got to make sure everything's set up right.
Oh, you're fine. I had to turn my volume up. I was wondering why I couldn't hear you good. I had to turn my volume up.
Let me see if mine's up right quick.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
What's up, man?
What's going on? I like that trophy room.
I appreciate it. I can't really see it from my end real good. I don't know if it's cut off for you.
No, it's just like that, man. When Facebook Live, it for some reason it zooms in really close to you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. That's just how it is. In a perfect world, I would love to be able to show everything behind me, but it just won't. It won't do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But man, I'm glad to have you on finally, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be in here with you, man.
Heck yeah, man. Hopefully I gave a good little intro there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was good. It was good.
Good deal. So I guess starting off, man, I would like everybody to kind of get a little backstory from you. Tell us about yourself and all that.
Well, see, I'm 50 years old now. My daddy started taking me and my brother. I was probably about 5 years old. And that's the first time that I ever heard a hound run a deer, open up on a deer. You know how it was then, when you're a kid in the woods, you're playing, you're really focused on the hunt. We're playing with rocks and digging in the dirt, and daddy's telling us, shut up, be quiet. And anyway, the first time I remember hearing them hounds open up, my daddy said, buck, 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 be still, be still. And we saw the silhouette of the buck, but he never came out, out of the wood line there. But that was the first time I knew that I wanted some deer hounds. I was about 5 or 6 years old. And,
wow, at a young age.
Yeah, man, that was 79 in the Sandhills in North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And you was hooked ever since, Tom.
What's that?
I said you was hooked ever since, Tom.
Oh yeah. Ain't no doubt about it. I mean, we always had rabbit dogs too.
Okay.
Even before, when I was born, my daddy had rabbit dogs out there. We had rabbit dogs by the swing set,
Yeah.
So, and so from there, that same year, my daddy caught a man's hounds. name was Jerry Shields, and it was Hound Dog Hunt Club. And when he came up, he called his hounds, and he came up. He said, "Man, how'd you catch them hounds? And nobody's even been able to touch them dogs, but he could catch them." My daddy had a way with dogs, and from there they started that club in '79, and we started going, every weekend, and it grew, and that's how I got started, man. I mean, the love for it, and I knew I was gonna have some hounds, at a young age one day, and some beagles, some rabbit dogs.
How many do you got now?
Let's see, Nina, Penny, Bo, Dan, Youngin, Bear, Woody, BJ, and Tex. Got 9.
9? That's awesome.
I used to have about 16 to 17.
Yeah.
That, I ran, but they got a little bit old trying to keep up with it. And expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine. So basically, I'm gonna remind everybody that we're wanting all of y'all to come on and talk to us, and the goal for this is to have a professional conversation about the sides of dog hunters and still hunters, and trying to bridge that gap. So if anybody is watching that wants to come on and talk to me and Reece, y'all can click the join button, and I'll add you on.
And that's what, bridging the gap, man. That's so much bigger than just saying the words.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And if anybody comes on and just wants to ask basic questions about how, anything to make it better, between the two. And and here's the main thing that people need to understand: as houndsmen, we're not in a fight with still hunting, because most houndsmen still hunt.
Yep.
We're in a battle with a narrative and an ideology that's built around misconceptions. You know what I'm saying? And you know as well as I do, all it takes is one person saying one thing, and it especially on social media these days, and it flies, and it becomes the narrative. You know what I mean? And I'm here, if I can, to correct some of those misconceptions and the perceptions of us, and I want to better understand from those guys' standpoint, what it is, that we can do, to make things better. Which I know one, the biggest argument is keep your hounds off our land.
Yeah. And I've heard that too. I remember one guy sending me a message basically saying that very thing, that dogs getting off on their land and things of that nature, and and I know technology's came a long way, and I know that GPS has helped out a lot with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's these days it's pretty much a push of a button. When them hounds hear that tone, if their tone broke, if they're trained, I can hit that tone button and go down through there and scroll, and when they hear that tone, they know to stop and come back.
Awesome.
And sometimes it's not always the case.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might run into a situation where you got a split race going on. A set of hounds might have jumped over here, and they might have jumped several deer, and some go off on those deer and some go off on the others.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you're in a situation where, you say you got a highway or a busy road, and this way you got, maybe a mile or two away, you might have a property line that they're not allowed to be on. Well, in that kind of situation, you try to do the best you can to keep them off that private property, but we're going to make an executive decision, and we're going to get the ones that are headed to the highway or hard top. So, so they don't
want to lose all. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes when you get out, you get out a little out of range, that tone don't work. And it's not that we don't try to stop them from, going on to people's private land, but sometimes, occasionally, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now that's not speaking for the bad apples.
Yeah.
Some for the gripe is that some of them guys turn out straight dead into somebody's property.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's really, that doesn't happen a whole lot. I'm not saying it don't happen.
Yeah.
And and that's something we try our best to put out there, in order to save our way of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But you can't police people but so much, because
Yeah.
you know that.
Yep. And all it takes is from people experiencing something for themselves, and if they have one hunt where they go on and they have something like that happen, they get set in their ways that, oh gosh, dog hunters are terrible and all that. They don't
Right.
even want to attempt to learn anything about it.
Right. I mean, you got some people like that. They shut off completely.
Yeah.
Don't want to, it's like a brick wall. But you know what though? You can't, at the same time, that's their land. I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday, another houndsman,
Mm-hmm.
about people busting their butts to have a piece of property. And it's not cheap, and it's not easy to come by.
Yep.
And so, they've got it set up the way they want it, and the way they want to hunt it. And it can get frustrating to have, you're sitting there on a good hunt, and you might see a buck, 200 yards away. You can't get a crack at him yet, but he's working his way that way. And if a hound, comes through there and bumps the buck off, out of his hunt, that can get frustrating. I get it.
Yeah.
I've been on a lot of still hunts. Myself, of course, I didn't mind it because I'm a houndsman, but had deer come through, dogs come through, and with my knowledge of it, though, knowing how deer operate, dogs can come through there, and I've had deer a minute later come the same path right through there. A lot of times, a lot of these newer hunters don't know, if you just stay put. It's not ruined, but anyway, going back to, trying to stay off people's property. I mean, it's a valid argument. Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I don't know, for me, I wanted to talk about that too today, because, I want to learn about all this stuff too, and I didn't know that about the whole, staying put thing. In my head, I would have thought, man, the hunt's ruined, I might as well just go,
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of people probably think like that. I didn't know that.
Well, and that's, my daddy taught me that.
Okay.
When I was younger, there was times when, like, some of these guys think when a doe blows at them, their hunt's over. It's ruined, and they'll get out the stand and go home. And that's so far. I've had the same doe blow at me, take off, and come right back.
Yeah.
Several times.
Yeah.
Or deer, period.
Yeah.
When you're out there, there's nothing. Anything can happen. Anything.
Yep. That's true.
I was sitting there watching. I remember one time I was sitting there watching a doe and a buck from a distance, and I turned my head like this, and there was two bucks right behind me, probably 20 yards. I didn't even hear them come up. Scared me. But like I said, it plays into that anything can happen out there. But the hunt is never ruined. Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Not out there in the woods. You're right about that.
Had horseback riders come through, and not long after that, 5-10 deer come through.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I was checking real quick to see if I had anybody wanting to come on. Let's see. I don't got nobody yet. Have you gotten any messages from anybody wanting to come on?
I don't. Let me check. Let me see. No.
Not yet. Okay, and that's fine.
But Renee says I got to watch a whitetail run off a black bear.
Is that what you saying? Let me see.
That's wild. You see what she said?
I'm trying to pull it up here.
Cody Bray said, "What's the topic?" Cody, what's up, man?
Man, you can see it. I can't even see it. Well, yeah, you keep me updated on the comments then, because I don't know what to click on.
Hey, Cody. Hey, we're talking about bridging the gap between still hunters and hound hunters, and how we can do that, and trying to open up a dialogue
Yep.
professionally where we can talk, like we got some sense, and figure out how we can come together. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: if one type of hunting gets shut down, whether it's still hunting or hound hunting, they're coming for the rest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once they get that ball rolling, it's gonna start snowballing from there.
Yep, that's very true. Yeah, I can have one. We can have three of us on. Like, if we get one more person, it'll like split in like 3 streams.
I got you.
So
yeah, Cody just said a great topic for sure. We need to.
Yeah. Well, if Cody wants to come on, he's more than welcome. I think he has to hit click to join, and I'll see his name pop up, and I'll add him on if he wants to talk.
I think, let's see, if I commented a while ago. I don't know if you hit something and invited me, but I just commented and said I'm here, and it gave me the invitation.
Yeah, I seen that. I just can't. I don't know, for whatever reason, it's not letting me see the comments.
What if do you have the bar down there?
I do, but what's crazy is the comment button is really close to the finish button, and I'm scared I'm going to accidentally hit finish. And
well, I mean, we can get back on. I mean, but can you see where it says top comments?
Nope.
Dang.
Yeah, hold on, I'm trying to figure it out here.
Cody just said, "How do I enter?"
Tell them it should be an option to click to join.
Do you, Cody? You see a button that says "click to join"? Ask a question. Hold up. More like this. I honestly, man, I don't see it myself.
What's his name, Cody?
Cody Bray.
Oh, I see it. Hold on, I got him.
All right.
It says adding now. So let's see. Yeah, man, we'll have a good conversation tonight.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. So the main thing about it is coming to an understanding, man.
Yeah.
And start respecting each other.
That's the whole thing, man. The outdoor community, respectively, we all look out for each other for the most part, and it needs to stay that way. And we all need to come together and not have so much, a bad stigma going around and stuff like that.
Yeah, no doubt. And
it says
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say it said it's adding him, but he ain't on there yet. All right,
where you at, Cody?
Hold on a second.
Can you see the comments yet?
I can't see the comments, but I see a lot of people that I can try and add on.
There's an Amanda on there. It says how do folks get in to speak.
It should be an option to click to join. All right, here we go. Let's see. Cody sent me an invite now. I'm gonna try it one more time. Adding. It says adding. Here we go.
Oh, there we go. What's up, guys?
What's going on, Cody?
Hey. So I'm with Reece on a lot of stuff. I mean, we all should be in that same gap of, all of us are hunters. We all need to respect each other, respect the woods, and, do what we're out there to do. Let's enjoy the outdoors. As you can tell, I've got hounds. I still hunt. I mean, you can hear them in the background. I mean, I've got neighbors they don't mind them. I asked before I brought them, just showing my courtesy and respect, just like I would a still hunter. Um, you know, y'all have a problem, dogs barking. Obviously, when you go in a house, you can't hear them, but a lot of people like sitting on the porch enjoying the quietness. Especially out in the country like we are.
Mhm.
I will say that I have personally run into people, and I'm sure Reece has too. As far as being in the woods, running dogs, and run up on a still hunter, and they just say, oh, you messed my whole hunt up. I think we've
Yeah.
all been there.
Yep.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and I will tell you time and time again that I've also run into people that come out of the woods, and I'm like, man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mess your hunt up. And he's like, man, I've been sitting there since daylight, ain't seen a deer. There's dogs come by. There's like, I've seen more deer in the last 10 minutes than I have sitting there in the cold, freezing to death.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
and I will say, I watch a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of, the growing deer TV, stuff like that. A lot of your biologic stuff.
Yeah.
It is a proven fact, and I've heard two different occasions of this, that they have came in, they've bought a tract of land, they're managing deer, that tract of land has been ran, had dogs run on it since day one.
Hmm.
As a dog hunter, we don't sit and wait on that. A lot of us don't sit and wait on that mature deer. We take what we get. So we're not just targeting those older deer. We're targeting, just a deer in general having a good time. So
We're
that
beef. We're
age
beef
gap,
hunting.
you get your different age gaps of deer there. It's not 200 acre or 1,500 acre farm that's not been managed properly.
Hmm.
Where you're only taking 3 and 4 year old bucks, you're only shooting your older does. These you're taking your younger deer, you're taking your middle deer, you're taking your older deer. So everything has kind of a way to adapt itself. It's been shown that it's easier for them to come in and start managing properties that's been run by deer doggers or run by hounds than it would that one that's been under, still hunting.
That's
And
interesting.
Right.
not saying, and I've seen that in two different podcasts. And not saying that, still hunting you cannot manage your deer.
Hmm.
I'm not saying you can't, but what do you usually target as a still hunter? You target, your 4-year-old bucks, your 4.5-year-old bucks, your 5-year-old bucks. You're not going to shoot those in November.
Yeah.
Uh, Me and Reece was talking last night. There's a place that I call home dearly. It is the Sand Hills Game Lands. I've
Oh
run it.
yeah.
I've run that place. My grandparents has actually got a picture of me in my car seat at 18 months old, sitting on the hood of my grandpa's truck on a sand road.
I
How
want to
about
see
Uh,
that
that?
picture.
um, I've called that place home since, like I said, before I could even walk. Last year I've done some reading, and there was a lot of the CWD stuff going on. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yep. Here too.
So last year, wildlife opened. Back in the day, it was doe days was 2 days out of the year. I always remembered that because I always got to lay out of school those 2 days. Grandpa always took off work those 2 days.
Heck yeah.
Um, I mean, the best time of my life. But they made it to where now you get drawed, you get these 2 tags, and you can use them the whole year. You pick and choose from opening day of gun till it closes on the game land. December 16th, 18th, it changes every year. I noticed last year that you could send off as a party. So when you send off as a party, when that one person got drawed within that party, it opened up for that whole party to harvest
The whole
does.
party. The whole
The
party gets drawn.
whole party got drawn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and be honest with you. I seen more does come off of that game land last year than I've ever seen. And this year I went to do the same thing because it is a family ritual. We send off for doe days. We don't get to
Yeah.
run our hounds in Randolph County. I live in Randolph County. We don't get to run our hounds in Randolph County. And,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know, we only get to use rabbit dogs, coon dogs, which is what I've got. I've got rabbit dogs, coon dogs, deer dogs, squirrel dogs. So my deer dog's set for 9 months of the year. I pay $29 a bag on dog food now. I pay $29 a bag on dog food for my hounds to set 9 months, so I can go down there and run them from November 16th to December 16th. So that's 1 month out of the whole year that I run my hounds.
Yeah.
That, you know, that I can do it and harvest the deer off of them. Not saying that I can't do it and, you know, train them down there. I can still train them. But
Right.
for me to
Right.
go down there and actually, for them to actually be a gun dog, you know, actually shoot one down in front of my hounds and enjoy it, you know, give them a reward for doing what they're supposed to do. I've got 1 month to do it in.
Is it like that with you, Reece?
What's that?
Is it like that with you too?
Yeah, I hunt the Sand Hills. We're talking about the same place.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So, but I run. I try to take mine down there. You got until April 1st to train them, to train and condition. After the season closes, I try to run mine once a week, but I've been a little bit slack about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much like that. You know,
It is.
you get the hunting season. You know, if it ain't the Sand Hills, I mean, you get till January 1st in other places.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You get 2-3 months, maybe 2 months. You know, maybe not even that long out of a whole year to run them hounds. It's not like we're running, you know,
4 months or
I mean,
something.
some people could train year round because they got private land. They got the land to do it. You know.
And see, I've got buddies around here. I live not too far from Moore County, and Moore County is a dogging county. Like I said, I'm a true blood dog man, always will be. But I do still hunt, obviously, because I live in Randolph County. And like Reece saying, you know, a lot of them still do run their dogs, and I've got buddies that say they run their dogs, you know, even closer to fawning season. Down there at the Sand Hills, I seen it mentioned last night in a lot of comments, you know, why are they still letting you train, you know, so far into April? Well, you think those does don't really start dropping till after April.
Right.
So the way that I look at that, you know, it's not really, it's not hurting the deer. How would it be hurting the deer? Because obviously you've got coyotes doing, you know, you got coyotes doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the same exact thing. And us as dog hunters, we do the same exact thing that a still hunter would do. When we see a coyote, I mean, both of y'all probably agree. When we see a coyote, it turns into a coyote hunt. It don't matter what it is.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm sitting in the stand, it just broke daylight, I'm shooting that coyote.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting there running dogs and the dogs push a coyote by me, I'm shooting that coyote.
But you know what? Bringing up that point, Cody, adding to that right there is a place that's as well ran with hounds. You're not going to have a huge coyote presence.
Yep.
If you keep running dogs, I mean, places we started running our rabbit dogs in. When we started doing that, the coyote started moving out. You know, we started running it once or twice a week. You know,
I will say that. Yeah, that is a proven fact. I had a cutover that was overran with coyotes at one time, and I started putting rabbit dogs in there, young dogs in there, just keeping a lot of heat in there, you know, training. And I've got one on camera this year out of the whole season.
Damn.
I've got one on camera actually coming through that cutout, and it didn't stay for long. I got one picture, and he was in a good trot. He was moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But back to being, you know, back to the whole doe thing, and Reece, me and him was talking about last night. This year running dogs, I've seen a lot of big deer for the last 4 or 5 years come out of Hoffman. The last 4 years, huge deer came out of Hoffman.
Yeah.
Down there at Sand Hill Game Lands. I will say this year it was scarce because I think of the CWD thing. I think that is something, and I've seen a lot of guys. I'm on the NC Whitetail Hunter page. A lot of the other counties that done the same thing, gave out those doe tags, those extra doe tags. They seen a decrease in as well in what they seen sitting in the stand running dogs. I'll be honest with you. My dogs ain't A100. I mean, if anybody says a dog's A100, they lying to you. I'm telling you, bro. I mean, they lying to you.
They tell a story.
I'll say for every 3 swamps that I ran this year, I jumped 2 deer. For every 3 swamps, and I'm old school. My grandpa taught me how to drive dogs. We don't turn loose at the tailgate and let the dogs go. We walk the swamps with the dogs. So we're there when the deer jumps. We see the deer. We see the dogs leave. We have to walk all the way back to the truck. So whatever the length of that swamp is, we walk it. Because 9 times out of 10, like Reece, I heard the comment he was talking about. He's seen a buck and a doe, and then didn't even know 2 slid up behind him. I can't tell you how many times I've been driving dogs and walk right by a deer and it jump up and scare me.
Yeah.
And I can't even get my gun up my shoulder. I've almost had to knock one down with my gun one time to keep it from running me over.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Cody, back in the day in the Sandhills, they didn't even, it was always buck only. You didn't even have the draw hunts.
Nope.
And I'm gonna tell you what, man, in the 80s, and a lot of these younger guys don't know this, but man, it was not nothing you could pull over the side of the road on Hoffman or over on one of them other dirt roads and just about dump anywhere and jump.
Yep.
And it wasn't nothing to jump 10, 15, or 20 deer at a time. And I think that's why a lot of the bucks now are bigger, because the population, we've been able to cut the population down some.
Yep.
And that's similar to a management type deal, we watched the deer were smaller too. They had smaller bodies back then.
Yeah.
Some of them look like daggum blue tick hounds running around about that size.
Yeah. I will say, when doe days first started down there, stories from my grandpa, it's just unbelievable. He'll tell you that if you shot a 75-pound doe down there, that was a big deer for down there.
Wow.
Oh yeah. The deer have gotten bigger down there.
For
sure. I think that is because, the population is thinned out.
Yeah.
That's
But
good, man.
As far as bridging the gap between still hunters and dog hunters, I just think it's in the area. I think it's the area that you're doing it in. Everybody's saying, well, as a still hunter, we spend a lot of money. We plant food plots, we hang on lock-on stands, and don't get me wrong, that stuff's high. Hanging tree stands, making sure nobody's, stealing your stuff, putting locks on, putting up cameras, paying for cameras, because now you got cell cameras that cost you $50, $60 a month when you start running 3 or 4. But I'll be honest with you, if you want to talk about, money to money ratio, which shouldn't be really what you compare to, it's what you're comparing is the difference in how you're enjoying yourself. That's what we need to be comparing. They're enjoying themselves sitting in the stand. We're enjoying ourselves running our dogs.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm a man on both sides. I do both of it. So
that's me too, man. Always have.
It don't faze me, and I think a lot of us dog hunters get a lot of bad raps because they see people that keep dogs on chains. They see people that, not harping on nothing, not everybody has the best feed stores around to get stuff, but there's some dog food that you could feed a 50-pound bag of it, and it's not going to put weight on your dogs. And I mean, we all know that.
Yeah.
You've got to pick your dog food. Like some dogs just can't take certain types of feed; it'll burn them up. And what I mean by that is, the fatty acids in it. Some dogs can handle that, and then some dogs just can't. Anytime I've ever had to switch my dogs, for like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll mix them. I'll mix, if I buy this bag, I'll mix it in with a bag that I've been feeding them. And that's only if I'm trying to figure out which one's best for a dog that I just brought in, what's going to best suit all of them. So I'm not having to buy so much.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like myself. I had to get some dogs up off the ground this year. That was my number one goal this summer, to get dogs up off the ground. And I was looking at like $500 a platform to be able to get these dogs up off the ground, out of the mud, in a suitable condition that I thought was suitable, for myself, and to be able to buy dog lots to hold what dogs I do have. So, you got $600-700 in a double door dog lot. You got $500 in material. You start adding that up. I mean, that's pretty pricey. But then you think, of a steel hunter that buys a tractor, buys seed, buys a stand. It's not a money game by no means. But we're all doing the same thing. We're spending our hard-earned money to do what we want to do.
Yep.
I don't think we should be fighting each other, trying to take that away from each other, because we're all working to do the same thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you too that I've been guilty of falling into the fold of the back and forth, the turmoil, and y'all this that and blah blah blah. I've done it. I've done it a bunch. And it's only been in retaliation, and I'm not saying that was right, but I think we've all been there.
Oh yeah, I have. I'm not gonna lie, I've snapped a few times. Reece, we'll bring out a conversation, that we had back in November. I still remember it like we're having that conversation now. I forgot what the topic was on. We got to talking about, dogs and the mistreatment of dogs and, just dogs in general. And a lady brought up, well, I seen she had a pack of dogs that was running a coyote inside of a pen. And to save the coyote, she goes up and kicks the dogs, trying to get the dogs off the coyote. Well, there's two sides of the fence right there. Yes, they could get, it could show bad turmoil on us for letting our dogs catch the coyote, but it could also show bad turmoil on us for us going up and trying to get those dogs off the coyote. So, there's a fine line that we've got to stay in. And as people, as human beings, we've got to learn to right, two wrongs don't make a right. I mean, we've all been taught that.
Yep.
There's stuff that you post online and there's stuff you don't post online. And I remember what it is now. It was the plot dog hanging off of the bear.
Oh yeah.
In one of the bear dog videos.
Now the person who owns them, that dog, they didn't want that posted online.
Yeah, they were asking for that to be took down. Yes.
Yeah, they didn't want it. They didn't even want it posted in the first place, and somebody took it upon themselves to post it. And we get it as hunters. We get what we see out there. We know what we see. We know
there is certain stuff that I think we should post, and there's certain stuff that I think we should not post.
Right.
I'm big about showing my dogs off and stuff. I'm also big in you work in silence. You don't post everything, and that's not saying that I don't think people shouldn't do that. I love posting videos of my boys turning the dogs loose. Bringing up a younger age. Showing them the ways that we've learned.
Right.
I will take video after video of my dogs, you know, treeing a coon, running a deer. Will I ever video me shooting it out? No. Will I ever video, you know, my dogs seeking the reward of that being done? No. Afterwards, if my son wants to take a picture with the coon or the deer or the rabbit, I will let him do that. But I will save the argument and the negativity by filtering what I post.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing about that too, man. It's you know, like with the live catches and everything that some of these guys post, that ain't doing nothing but hurting us as a whole. But here's my thing of it. You know, not everybody was raised like us.
Nope.
Not everybody is used to seeing, you know, what goes on in a hunt, and it's not for everybody to see. And sometimes, you know, I feel like it can be, it's you got to be empathetic to other people and some of what things, how it makes them feel. Doesn't mean that we have to, you know, completely shut down everything that we post and hide, you know, but you know, there's no sense in antagonizing and inflaming people on top of that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. And I'll say this too, you know, I mean, you could go on this topic forever. I mean, and you're still going to have a divided line. I'm not saying that we won't never have a non-divided line. I believe that we'll have a line there, but it may not be as visual. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll give you this case that I ran into last year at the Sandhills. And it was actually out there at Hoffman BP store. And there's a lot of people on here. They know about that gas station.
Oh yeah.
That's the go-to gas station. All right. A couple of miles down the road from there is a section of game land that has a lot of private land around it. We had a pretty good deer race going, and it ran across the private land, got in on over and into some other private land, and I was actually toning my dogs back because they started crossing the paved roads. I have my dogs broke to where when they start crossing paved roads, they know that's a no-no. They're not supposed to cross paved roads.
Right.
I actually had the landowner come out and meet me at the road and was very, I won't say distraught, very upset. That the fact that he thought I was with a group of 15 guys, 15 different trucks, by the way, that had actually came into his private land and turned loose, driving right past the private signs. Once I actually sat down, you know, I had dogs running loose, but to keep the situation calm without him, you know, calling a wildlife officer, we sat down and talked. And, you know, I told him, you know, this is the deal. I don't know those people. This is the deal. I showed him now that the technology we have as far as tracking dogs, you know, I can take you to almost every turn that my dog's made in the woods. If he made a circle, I can show you where it was at. If he crossed the road, I can show you where it's at. If he stopped, you know, at your house door for just a second, I can show you where he stopped. I showed him exactly where the dog started at, where they're at now, where they ended up, and where I had my truck marked the location of where I turned loose at. And after he's seen that, you know, that I wasn't, you know, the problem there. He wanted to join. He said, "Man, I tell you what," he's like, after these guys leave out, if you think there's a deer in there, you know, come up in the yard. Me and my son be more than glad to tag along with y'all if y'all don't mind. He was like, we still hunt back there, but he's like, you know, the last couple of weeks has been kind of slow. So it started off negative, but ended in a positive note.
That's what it's all about. It's all about respect. That's all about, you know, cleaning up your side of the street, you know, when it's necessary.
Yeah. So I don't think it's so much. I don't think the divided line should be dog hunters and still hunters. I think the divided line is negative and positive. You know what I'm trying to say? You know, I believe the people that's doing right and that can talk through the situation, you know, hey, that's honest about it. You know, hey, look, this is where we turned loose. This is where it happened. You know, dogs can't read signs. I mean, but people can read signs. And us as owners, we have to take responsibility for that.
Right.
And
Right.
that's where I'm saying, you know, that's where our wrong, it's not the dog's wronging. It is the person that's just doing the hunting's wronging. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that goes for a steel hunter too. You know, a steel hunter
Well,
can read signs.
yeah. I mean, there's plenty. There's bad apples in every facet
Yeah.
of life.
I think
I mean, you know,
that's where the divided line is. The divided line is the bad apple there.
Yeah.
That's what the divided line should be.
Yep.
and that's what I was telling Brent earlier, man. Is it's the battle is not even for us, especially as houndsmen, because we're still hunters too.
Yeah.
The battle is not against still hunting. The battle is against the narrative, the negative ideology and narrative that's built around us.
The battle is between the positive hunters and the negative hunters. The ones that, you know, I mean, every once in a while, and if somebody tells you they've never, they're lying to you. Just like if somebody tells you that they got the best dog in the world, yeah, right. Yeah, that's a joke. Yeah. You better if they tell you that, you might as well just get back in the truck because you about to be in for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All of us have every once in a while bent the rule just a little bit. I'll be honest with you, I've done it. You know, I've walked by a posted sign getting out of the woods before, but I've also thought about it. You know, you get back in there, you got your dogs back in there. You got a lot to lose when you get back in there and you get to walking on somebody's land you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So that I think that's the line. You know what I mean? I think it's the bad apple line. You know,
that's what it is, man. I mean, for instance, man, like I was saying earlier too, is sometimes your hounds they're just going to occasionally they're going to get off on the wrong property.
Yep.
Sometimes it's going to happen, but that's different. Like if they're running deer from say like from the sand hills to an adjacent private property. A lot of those guys from there on think that you turn your dogs out on their property when in fact they're already trailing deer from 2 miles away. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Sometimes it's going to happen, and that's an opportunity right there though to if you get to talk to that landowner, that right there is an opportunity to make it right or make it or break it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, and that's where Garmin can help you with that. Garmin can show, if you've got tracks, like me personally, I leave mine on for 2 hours. So from 2 hours, once I turn that collar on, I can show you where I leave the house, I take and drop the dogs, and it shows the exact track of where I've been and where I'm at now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, even your track. It shows your track too.
If it comes down to the point to where you're dealing with a landowner that is very upset of the situation that's going on, and say he does call a wildlife officer, you can show that track just like, in a criminal case, you can show text messages, you can show phone calls. You could show, hey, I turned loose over here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a open gap of woods. They trailed this far, but this is where I turned loose. I did not turn loose on their property.
Right. Right. In a legal situation, that's going to be helpful. But there's just some people that they're going to see it their way, and that's it. There's no.
And I'll tell you like this too. If you've got a 5-acre lot that your buddy invites you, hey man, bring your 6 deer dogs over here. Let's run this 5 acres. I'm not going to do it.
No.
5
Nah,
acres is not going to hold dogs.
nah.
10
You
acres
might
is
want
not.
to get.
It's not going to hold. If you've got a pack of dogs that'll drive one, 10 acres is not going to do it.
You better get you a couple walkie-talkie beagles for that.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think that's where it falls back on you as a person. Are you a bad apple or a good apple?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Know your dogs. If you spend time with your dogs, know your dogs.
Yep.
Know what your limits are. Hey, I've got 20-acre lot. I've got a 20-acre pine thicket. All right, I know that if they jump a buck, they're gonna carry him because a buck's gonna run a straight line. We all know that. But you jump 4 or 5 does, they're gonna make a couple of circles before they tear out of there.
Right.
But
I mean them long-legged dogs, man, they jump. They're gonna clear 100 acres in a matter of 30 seconds.
Yeah. And see that's the thing is, we got off on the conversation a couple of months ago, the difference between a jump dog and, a driving dog. A jump dog to me is, and you'll see a lot of it. I've seen a lot of it this year. A walker is gonna run the thickets, the outsides of the thickets. They're not necessarily going to go in there and jump the deer. They're looking for that strong wind scent.
Right.
You throw a dog in there that is your jump dog, that dog's going to beat the brush. He's going to get it going. He's going to be slower than your pack dogs.
Got that nose to the ground.
So I've seen it where they'll turn their pack, their jump dog loose. They'll jump. They'll catch the deer crossing, that fresh, hot scent. They'll dump their pack on them. They'll catch the jump dog and actually put him back in the box because he's going to be a quarter mile behind them before he even gets up there.
When they have to leave to go cut them dogs off, they don't want to leave that one dog back there.
Nope.
Sometimes I have to do that with puppies,
Yep.
I
will tell you a specific spot at Sand Hill Game Lands. I'll never forget it.
No, don't be giving a specific spot.
Well, this is a bad one right here, brother. I was probably 12 or 13 years old, and a lot of people may know it as Dead Man's Curve.
I got you.
Real sharp curve right there on I think it's Derby Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the reason I started toning my dogs back off of paved roads. Even my coon hounds, I don't like them crossing paved roads unless I'm right there pretty close. Rabbit dogs, either one. I seen 6 dogs get hit by a feed truck right there one morning.
Yeah.
6 dogs at one time. Come out of the swamp head, deer had made the jump of the road and one bound, and they fell out there on that highway and was confused because the scent of a deer is real hard on that asphalt. Feed truck come down through there around that sharp curve, didn't see them. All 6 of them, one swipe.
Yeah.
So I mean, us as dog hunters, we, not saying that still hunters don't take a big loss, but that's one thing we've got to look out for too. These paved roads are not the best to us.
Right.
We've got a lot to lose. We've got $300 hanging off that dog's neck. We've got, time vested in the dog. And like I was saying earlier, it's not a big, who's spending the most money deal. But it's, you get a lot of people that say, well, I've got all this time in this food plot. I've got all this time in this, but
yeah,
look at all the time
that we've
got.
It's basically, I mean, there's been all kinds of things said back and forth, and your worst kinds on each side are the ones who will turn out across a piece of property intentionally, and the ones who will shoot a hound. That's your two forces right there that usually collide and create most of the turmoil.
In the
I
in
was
the
just gonna say, in just a second, I was gonna try and get some more people on in just a minute. All right, if you don't
I,
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
I,
Go ahead. Yeah,
I would say in the 10 years that I've kind of been, running my own thing, for the longest time, it was, my grandmother and my grandpa, that done all the dog controlling. I think we've had personally one dog shot. I had a buddy this year actually lose two.
Mm.
The week before the end of season, was shot. Um, Even not as they was running, they were on the way back and was crossing back through some property. He had toned them back, knowing they had crossed that line, and they had shot them on their way back through, coming back.
right.
Yeah.
See, that's anyway. That's no good, man.
Yeah,
Mm.
but like I said, between the trying to divide the line, man, me personally, I think it's something that it's not something that as dog hunters and still hunters, that we've all got to agree that we all need the time in the woods. I mean that's just one thing. We all need it. That's what we all work for.
Mhm.
But
Right.
I think
Right.
it comes down to what we all talked about a while ago was you got bad apples and good apples.
That's true. That's true.
There ain't no doubt
I
about
mean,
it.
I think
Cody,
that's how we're all going to kind of share the woods and do right by each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah. What you have, Brent?
I appreciate you coming on, Cody. I got somebody else wanting to join us, brother. I'm gonna try and get a few people in here
All
tonight.
right, brother. Sounds good. Well, y'all have a good
Man,
night.
I appreciate you coming on, though, brother.
Oh yeah.
All right, Cody.
Take care, Cody. All right, let's see who else we got here. Let's see. I think Jake wants to come on.
Jake.
Yep.
Hey
What's going on,
guys,
brother?
how y'all doing tonight?
Hey man,
Good,
what's
man.
going
How you
on?
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for getting me on. My wife and son are playing in the background, so if you hear them, sorry in advance.
No,
So,
you're fine.
I'm coming out of Central Virginia. I know you
Okay.
guys are in Georgia. Is that
I'm
correct?
Georgia.
I'm in North Carolina.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm on both sides of the story. I was an avid still hunter for years. Got into hound hunting, and then purchased a tract of land and decided to still hunt more at my own pace. And all the neighboring properties run dogs around here, and I've killed a lot of deer in front of dogs. I've harvested a lot of deer. Still hunting. I don't think there's a better way from one than the other. I think it's just what you choose to do. In Central Virginia, though, or in Virginia, we've got a law on the books that causes a lot of issues called the right to retrieve.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
I don't think you guys have that. Is that the case? Does North
We
Carolina?
don't. Yeah, we don't have that law in North Carolina.
So I think that's what causes the biggest issues here. An occasional dog running through your property happens. If you live in rural Virginia, it's part of it. And I know some people that's their big gripe. My gripe is not necessarily the dog, because I agree a dog can't read signs, but the hound owner can read signs, and
Right. Right.
when you're coming on posted private property and you're quote unquote allowed to, because of this, decriminalization, if you will, it rubs people the wrong way. So I think that's what some people get rowdy about here. I'm actually joining the club that neighbors me. I turned in an application. I want to get my son into hunting, and hunting with hounds is a lot more exciting than sitting in a tree stand, all day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue that's around here. I know a lot of great houndsmen who do the right thing, and even when their dogs are on people's property they shouldn't be on, they try to get permission to come on, and they're respectful, and they don't want their dogs on people's property that don't want them. But there is the bad apples or the bad actors that take advantage of that right to retrieve law, that's really hard to enforce in Virginia, and use it to scout someone's property possibly, or to run on your property. You know, it does get taken advantage of. Now, I'd say 95% of the people don't do that.
Yeah.
But the 5% of the do really gives the houndsman a bad image here in Virginia. And I think the majority of the people I talk to are all in agreement on it, but getting it to change or getting something to come of it is what the problem is. So I just wanted to come on here real quick. I knew you guys were having this talk, and like I said, I do both. And I, as the guy mentioned before, it's not a money thing. You know, I know people who food plots and property, they put a lot of time and money in. I know taking care of dogs and feeding them, and you know, there's a lot of time and money in that. And I think anyone should be able to hunt their own property however they want without infringement of others. And and the infringement of others is, I think, where it gets a bit challenging, at least here. You know, an occasional dog blowing through, I don't think is a big deal. It's part of it, living in the Southeast, you know. But I think when it's a stranger coming on your property under the cloak to look for a dog, that they don't have to announce themselves or don't have to attempt, you know, it gets a little shady. You know, I'm out of town and my wife's home alone. Some strangers potentially walking through the yard or coming through, and you know, our cell cams go off. She gets a notification that there's some stranger walking in the woods. It's a little uneasy. So
see, that's what I was going to bring up, because there's a couple houndsmen in Virginia that I've talked to quite a bit, and I know that pretty much Virginia's divided on that right to retrieve law.
Yeah,
the houndsmen are divided on that, and I know it's caused a lot of turmoil between some groups up there.
It has, you know, and in defense of the houndsman, I think the good guys, the law-abiding citizens, don't want to come on your property without permission, you know. And if they don't know how to get a hold of you or something, that's one thing. But when the property's clearly posted with a name on it, and you guys know all the apps these days, you can look up landowners. You can at least attempt to get notification relatively easily. You know, if you've attempted and you can't get a hold of somebody, you know, that's one thing. But blatant disregard, and then you confront somebody about it, and then they say, screw you, I got the right to be here. It's like, man, hold on, buddy. I live here all year. You know, I pay taxes all year. And it's not a money thing, but who are you? You're not my neighbor. Or you may be, but as far as I know, you're a stranger that's coming on my property. And, you know, a lot of the houndsmen here are against right to retrieve, but a lot of them are for it. And I think part of the reason is the nervousness. If you lose a little bit, what are they going to take next? You know, if we lose the right to retrieve, or then they're going to start taking away, are they going to shorten the season, or what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step?
They think it's going to start, you know, set the precedence for loss of more.
Well, it's just a domino effect. So my personal opinion for Virginia, if the right to retrieve went away or was amended so you at least had an attempt to get permission, we would have a lot less conflicts here. So,
man, I appreciate that. That was some good advice and stuff. I just learned a lot. I didn't even know about the right to retrieve thing.
Yeah, it's the biggest gripe here. You know, the law made sense in my opinion when it was put in place in the 30s, but today it's a little bit different. So
I can see that. Yeah. I can definitely see how people can take advantage of that.
Yeah. So good. Well, thanks for letting me join on. I've enjoyed it. I like hearing people's takes and input, and like you guys have all mentioned, we're all hunters. Nobody wants to lose their rights to hunt. That's for sure.
Yep.
And I think we got to figure out a way to bridge the conflicts between different sides, because at the end of the day, we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose hunting, but we also need to respect your neighbor. So
that's it. That's in a nutshell. That's what it is. But it's trying to figure out how to get to that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Hopefully this is the starting point. That's why I was wanting to do this.
No, I think this is good, you know, and this is the type of things that let people talk freely. And it's not no criticizing anybody. Like, what
Right,
can we
right,
do?
right.
You know, if anyone's out here listening to me, come knock on the door if your hounds are on the property. I'll gladly let you go look for them. My wife may be in the stand or my nephew in the stand. I don't want anybody getting hurt.
Yep.
And I would just want to know who's on my property coming or going. I wouldn't go on your property without asking permission. I just ask the same from
There
you.
you
So,
go. That's what
Yeah,
it's
no
about.
doubt.
Well, I
yeah. Well, good luck,
appreciate you
guys.
coming on, man.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
brother.
Take
Yeah.
care, man.
Yeah. Bye
Have a
bye.
good one.
All right. Let's see. All
What was
right.
it? What was his name?
Jake, oh my gosh. I think it was Jake Levy.
Levy or
Jake
Levy?
Levy, Levy.
Oh, I got you. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Levy.
Let me see
Yeah,
if I got anybody else that wants to come on.
might want to send him a friend request.
Yeah, there you
So,
go.
is there anything else? I mean, do you have anything, as far as that you would want to touch on? Just from.
For sure. I know. I also wanted to bring up, like, I know one guy told me that he had an issue with, like, some of these people will come in from out of town and they'll buy like a small tract of land in the middle of a bunch of dog hunting land. And they'll
Dog
know that
hunting,
ahead of time, and then they'll expect to have 10 acres that they can still hunt around 500 or 1,000 acres that dog hunters are all around and not have any issues. And that's just not the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be rare. It's gonna be really rare that he's not gonna see the occasional hound. I mean, when you're in dog country, and funny, I made a post not too long ago, and I pissed a lot of people off with it, and a lot of people agreed, and it wasn't meant to cause that much conflict or whatever, but I made a post where it was a screenshot off my hunt stand of about 14,000 acres of gangland, and 40 acres right dead slap in the middle of it. And if I can find it, I'll send it to you. I'll send you that. I'll share that post with you. But I put in there about there's no way you're gonna see the occasional hound. When you've got that small of a tract, it's not that we try to get the dogs to go onto your 40 acres.
For sure.
But when you're in dog country, when you're in hound country, they're gonna show up sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're off catching other dogs, some dogs might not have went on that track. They might just still be just out there just wandering around being a dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll send that to you.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. But it made a lot of people mad, and I mean I get it. But I think I could have done a little bit better wording it so it didn't create so much conflict.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's gonna happen.
there was a lot of good conversations in there though. Go ahead.
Exactly. No, I was just gonna say. I mean, that's the only way to create a conversation. I mean, everybody's not gonna agree with everything you say, or you know what I mean. It's just not gonna happen in today's world. But all we can do is try and state your case, and educate, your side of it. So that's how I feel about it. Was you want to try and get another person or two on, or what?
I'm good. Whatever you want to do, man. I'm good with it.
Okay.
I'm good with it. I'm
Okay.
still.
I didn't know if you needed to cut it off. You need to go. Just let me know. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know how much time went by. So it's okay. Let me see here see if we got anybody else wants to come on.
I'm gonna check my inbox real quick.
You see anything in the comments?
Let me look. Hold on. All I saw was that there was an Amanda under there.
Yeah.
Savig. No, I don't know
how to say it.
I don't know what.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to come on, you click the join button and we'll add you on.
I wish, really, to be honest, I wish somebody would have came on that's entirely against dog hunting.
For sure.
Um,
I was, yeah.
you know, just to, because I've never really encountered somebody face to face in real life that was just gung
So
ho.
against it.
Yeah. One time, and I mean, the guy, he drove off and did a pistol sign, like, you'll
Good
see.
Lord.
Yeah, but I would like to talk to somebody that's against it.
This is just round one. You know, we can come back on again sometime and do it again. And
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I'll tell you what, I saw you got that Georgia hat on, and you know I'm a Vol fan, right?
You're what? Who do you like?
Vols, go Vols.
Tennessee? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Ain't
sir.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'll talk
Oh, yeah.
a little junk. That's an ugly color, but it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. We rebuilding, man. We're still rebuilding a little bit. We had a couple good seasons though here.
Yeah, for sure.
My brother, he's the football guru with Tennessee and everything. I'm not into it like that anymore. But
yeah.
So you said you've hound hunted one time before.
Oh,
right?
yes. It was awesome.
It's fun. It's a
Man,
lot of fun, man.
I'm telling you right now, man, when they let them dogs out that truck box and they got to going, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. I mean, it was like I almost got chills on my arm.
Hearing that strike,
Yeah.
they strike and open up on that track.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun, man.
Yeah, man. There's nothing like it, man. But I lost my train of thought. Well, I was piggybacking on what you were saying a minute ago, but there's nothing like it. There's really nothing like it. It's good for the kids too, because kids get bored in the stand real quick.
Yes, for sure.
Start fidgeting and everything.
But, see if this person wants to come on. I don't know who it is, so let's see here. Let me see if it works. But yeah, we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up here in a few minutes. If we don't get nobody else on, it's okay. Like I said, we'll go for round two at another time. I mean, all it takes is just getting the word out. You know, people who there might be people who watch this video tomorrow and they'll miss out. But if we do it again, they'll know to be ready next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll do it again. Yeah. And I'd definitely like to talk to somebody that is anti-dog hunting.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that right there is what's gonna start to flow
for sure.
Things.
1,000
dialogue, you know, with a direct conversation.
Yeah.
And let them speak their piece, you know, and I'll speak my piece, and then we'll try to like what it's about, bridge the gap. Okay, so we understand that we shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't expect that, you know. Sometimes, you know. But anyway, and we'll do some more, man. We'll do some more on some other things too.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's always something to talk about. That's for sure.
That's right. That's right.
Always something to talk about.
That's right.
Well, I don't see nobody else right now. Did you want to talk about anything else before we head off here?
No. I think. Oh, you know what? I want to give a shout out to Wade Holdcraft with Hound Recovery Outdoors with extended range antennas. And his motto is protect what you love. You know, so and what that does is that long range antenna is it adds miles to your track when you lose track of your hounds on your Garmin, your handheld. And I've used it for a few years now, and it's a lifesaver. So I want to give a shout out to Wade and also Conky Outdoors for sending me some supplements for hounds. That it's an overall support supplement, and give a shout out to them.
I got you.
Well,
yeah, we'll definitely touch on some more things next time. And I had questions and stuff I didn't even get to, but it's okay. I think we still had a good conversation with a couple of people we talked to, and
Yep.
You know, like I said,
Right.
get the word out. Next time, hopefully, we have some people on that's on the other side of things, and you know,
Yeah,
have
well,
a little bit.
save them questions for next
I,
time.
I for sure will. For sure will.
Give me a date and we'll set it up and everything.
Okay, that sounds good to me,
And,
man. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up here, man. I appreciate you coming on, Reece.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate it a lot. Look forward
Yes,
to doing
sir,
it
man.
again.
Okay. Well, all right, man. Well, take care, brother, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right,
All
brother. We'll see you.
right, man. Take care, brother.
All right, later. You too.
Later, man.